what we're doing today is I'm going to give you a brief overview of energy medicine. And we're going to go into specifically subconscious repatterning and how we're going to use it in our asana practice. Then we're going to shift into practice. We'll be practicing for about 90 minutes, and there'll be asana, which is the physical posture, some pranayama and breathing, and meditation, all designed to help us find balance. And then hopefully there'll be some time at the end for some questions and any shares, and possibly breakouts if there's enough of us that we can connect with, maybe a little more personally in some of what we've experienced. So I want to go into a little bit about what is energy medicine. Now, the basic premise of energy medicine is that everything is energy. So if you know anything about quantum physics or quantum mechanics, you might know that at the subatomic level, everything is vibrating strings and movement of particles very rapidly. And so our skin and bones is not where we end. We have various layers in our bodies, and we have an energetic body or an aura. Now, one of the things that Donna Eden has been coined with, she's who I studied with, and she's a great resource for energy medicine. She talks about how our body has the ability to heal itself. We just need to pay attention to the signs. So this energy medicine stuff isn't new. This has been around for thousands of years, and it dates back to the ancient Vedic texts where yoga comes from. In this, we learn about nadis or energy channels, acupressure points. You might have had acupuncture or you're familiar with these points, but we're going to work a little bit with those today as well. We are also working with the chakras. Let's keep going. So I want to talk about subconscious repatterning, which is a huge part of what we're going to do today. Now I've got this quote here, which says the conscious mind can create, but it creates through the filter of subconscious programming. And this is Dr. Bruce Lipton. Some of you may have heard of him. He is a stem cell biologist, and he is one of the pioneers that is associated with epigenetics, which is the study of how we can actually change our DNA. So what does this mean? We receive our DNA, we have the DNA of our ancestors, it's in our blood. But so are the karmic imprints, the energetic imprints of their experiences, their traumas even. And this is why some of us may have a predisposition to certain illnesses or to certain strengths as well. And now this study, epigenetics, and again, I'm going to include resources, so you'll receive some links to this information when I send the recording. But this is also an understanding of how we can change the way our genetics are literally programmed. Think of a butterfly. A butterfly literally changes completely from a caterpillar going into a cocoon, breaking down completely into mush, and another part of its DNA is activated for it to become a butterfly. It is one of the most incredible examples of this transformation. Now, our subconscious is created in the first 7 years of our life. And this could be, our experience with our parents, our experiences with our siblings, our experience in being with or without financial security, general safety, anything that went on in these first 7 years creates the subconscious. And this is then reinforced through habit and pattern. And one of the ways I really like to explain this is it's as if we put on a set of virtual reality goggles, and those goggles were given to us by this programming. And those goggles could be, I am alone and nobody cares about me and I'm always doing everything by myself. And we put on those goggles and we continue to see that reality, and we even create that reality. But then we forget that we're wearing the goggles. And so subconscious repatterning is about taking those goggles off and coming back to the place of infinite source, which I hope today is a taste of, if not maybe deepening. Some of you may be familiar with this. But what's interesting is that the subconscious is responsible for 95% of our brain activity, including breathing and heart rate and things that we don't want to have to think about. But it is so powerful that if we start to reprogram this part, we can live the life of our dreams. We can have and be who we want to be. and we can find true happiness. And this is what I hope, this balance is what I hope we can cultivate today. Okay. So we're going to work with affirmations during our time in the practice. Affirmations can totally change your life. And when we say these affirmations, I've selected affirmations that correspond to the chakras and the basic affirmation that brings that chakra or that energy center into balance. But I want you to, you're going to be on mute when you say this. I want you to say it out loud. I want you to repeat after me when I invite you to. And I want you to notice what you feel when you say them. So keep that in mind. I'm not asking you to believe the affirmation, but I'm asking you to recognize what's happening when you say it. And can you start to recognize which are the ones that are hardest for you, that are most difficult? And if you find it difficult or you find it hard to believe, then this is a key for you as a way in to go deeper into your repatterning, because everyone's individual, everyone's different in our experiences, both good and bad. And so this will be a key for you. And this is what I'll invite you to really take note of for yourself. All right, so there's a couple of points on the body that I want you to know about, because when we get into our practice, you may not be able to see so closely exactly where I am. And so one of the points we're going to start our practice here is kidney 1. This is the kidney meridian that starts right in the middle bottom of your foot, as you can see pictured. And it's called bubbling spring. And the kidney energy, as I mentioned, has to do with our overall quality of energy. If we're generally upbeat or energized, or if we're sluggish, that's usually an indicator of a kidney imbalance. And then a couple of other points that are shown here. These are the 4 thumps, and I just want to direct you from the top to bottom. There's points right underneath the ocular cavity. Then there's points right below the collarbone. And you don't have to memorize them. We'll do them together, but I just want you to see where they are, because I'll be a little further away when we practice. And then there's a point right in the sternum. Yeah, and then we're going to come into the spleen, which is directly below the nipple, right below the breast. And if it's difficult to reach that point, you can also come around to the side. So these are helpful, and I'll talk about them when we get into our practice. And so we are going to shift to our practice. So I would like you to make sure you have a block and a cushion, or a thick book or pillow, blanket or towel. And then again, have your journal nearby. All right, now before we transition, I just want to ask if there's any questions. Any questions? I'm going to check the chat here. I see some stuff in the chat. Okay. All right. Awesome. Heidi, I'm glad you made it. So if the audio went in and out, it's because I was receiving a call at the same time for somebody who was trying to join, but she's been able to make it. So great to have you. Awesome. So any questions? Is anything that I shared not clear? Again, I'm going to send the slides out to everybody, and that'll be, that piece of the recording will go out. So we're all good? All right. So let us switch to practice.